Hi, my name is Colby Brown and I'm a wildlife photographer and Sony artisan, and these are my top 5 tips for wildlife photography. So tip number 1 is to do your research. This not only has to do with the subject matter of which wildlife you're photographing, but also the locations and the best times of the year to visit these places. If you wanted to see cubs or spring cubs when it comes to lions or leopards, you actually want to visit in December when it comes down to the southern part of South Africa. But if you want to see the wildebeest crossing in the Masai Mara, you need to go to Kenya or Tanzania, and more so in the August timeframe. So tip number 2 is to make sure that you're using the right lenses. Now, wildlife photography is a little bit different than a lot of other genres of photography in the sense that the barriers of entry are a little bit higher. The reason for this is that most of the animals that you're going to be photographing are quite a distance away, so you want to make sure that you're using the right lenses. For me, I love using Sony's 200 to 600 f5.6 to 6.3 because it's a great variable lens, gives me lots of distance and a good amount of light to still capture. Or if I'm really photographing in dark situations, I might want to use something like the new Sony 400 f2.8. It's a really beautiful lens that gives me a lot of flexibility and still allows me to zoom in far enough to capture subjects that are hunting out there far enough away from myself. So tip number 3 is to learn to anticipate the movement of your subjects. This also has to do a little bit with the research with understanding the different characteristics and the personality of the animals that you're photographing, but it's really important to get in the right position to photograph animals that you really can't control. It's not like you're in a studio where you're working with a model where you can kind of direct them where you want them to be. Instead, you have to learn to anticipate where they're going to be and what actions they might be taking so that you're best prepared to get the best possible photograph. Tip number 4 is to take advantage of silent shooting. Now, silent shooting is a technology that is kind of built into mirrorless cameras that is really phenomenal. And the difference that it comes out to is when you're on a location and you're photographing wild animals and you hear the sound of the shutter going off, it can actually be quite deafening. And it can actually distract the animals that you're photographing. So cameras such as the Sony A9, Sony A7R Mark IV, and a lot of the other Sony bodies in the system all have this silent shooting, which allows you to be completely silent as you're out there in the field. This allows you to focus more energy and attention on waiting for that right moment so that you can capture it without any issues. Tip number 5 has to do with autofocus. Taking advantage of technology such as AUTOFOCUS for wildlife, as well as tracking capabilities of the new Sony cameras, is phenomenal. With AUTOFOCUS, Sony's mirrorless cameras have the ability to track the eye with a variety of different animal subjects out there. Now, right off the bat, this is best with your mammals, your larger cats, dogs, big cats, but it also can do well with birds and other different species out there. In addition to that, you also have autofocus tracking, which is phenomenal. So I use flexible spot tracking, which gives me the ability to tap on the screen and make sure that that flexible spot tracks the head of the subject. This can happen in places like Brazil when I was photographing jaguars, where a jaguar was moving across the scene, I tapped on its head and I can track it throughout the entire scene. It's going to follow it no matter where I go. Make sure to subscribe and watch the next video to find what's in my bag for wildlife photography.